Does anyone else feel like the cicadas have been really loud this year? Maybe the cicadas have always been loud, and I'm just so Hikaru pilled that I notice them. I'm a lot more tuned in to the soundscape around me. You like my Gojira shirt? My friend from Tokyo got this for me when he lived with me for one summer. That dang wasp is trying to get in my house again. Leave me alone. I have nothing to offer you. Anyway, I don't want to make this introduction too long, but a bunch of new subscribers. Hello, thanks for showing up. Bunch of people coming out of the woodwork saying, hey, I thought you dropped off the face of the earth after those Trigun videos. No, I did not. I'm glad my videos are showing back up on your feed, but I never stopped uploading. There were just longer times between uploads. I like to do more video essay style scripted stuff, videos that take a long time to get all the way through production, so that's why. And if you like that kind of stuff, I do have a brief video essay that I did about the summer Hikaru died. If you want to go give that some love, please do. I let myself get bit by several mosquitoes for that. Let's just get into it. The summer Hikaru died, episode 2. The Chussie episode. Yes. I'm so happy this like nasty squishy sound is gonna be part of every episode. As if you weren't the one who killed her. Does he suspect? Okay. This is so strange. The color palette is so different from the color palette of the show. Oh, what was that? Okay, so in this like flash that interrupts this shot, Yoshiki is the only one that stays the same. Hikaru turns into this big blob, and then Asuka and Yu completely disappear. How much of this is just cool visuals and how much of it is trying to tell you something? It's always fun trying to decipher that out of an opening. The entity going up into that tree shape looked like the forest god from Princess Mononoke. The blood and the knife, I see you. Lots of scenes that I recognize from the manga, but I will leave those be. Episode 2, Suspicion. Is Yoshiki suspicious of Hikaru at this moment? Does he think that Hikaru killed Matsuda? I feel like he wouldn't have any reason to yet. In the manga, if I remember correctly, the boys don't come across Matsuda's crime scene. They hear about it from their teacher. I like that they added that scene though, because if they would encounter Mrs. Matsuda on their way home from school, then yeah, they would see the crime scene going back to school in the morning. Yuck. Maki's brother is really into supernatural stuff, so Maki has a bit of a sense for that. It's okay, it's his first time being human. He's trying to figure it out. Does that mean Hikaru can cry on command? Huh. I don't really believe in a lot of supernatural stuff, but I feel like people that believe in supernatural stuff are more, okay, how do I say this? If supernatural stuff is real, ghosts and spirits and stuff, the people who already believe in that are far more likely to encounter it. One, because their eyes are already open to that kind of thing. Two, don't you think an entity would target someone who's going to have some kind of reaction to it? If I don't believe in ghosts, and I'm Shane Medeaing it up in a supposedly haunted place, and a ghost does do something, I'm gonna be like, well, that was just a door slamming. It was drafty. That happens in old houses. Even if the ghost is real, I'm not necessarily inclined to believe in it. And so I think that Maki, being someone who is interested in or believes in the supernatural, is far more likely to have supernatural experiences, whether or not the supernatural is real. Because either it is real and he's seeing it, or it isn't real and his belief in it is making it real to him, attributing things that he sees to the things that he believes in. I wonder what movie it was. We've had several shots so far of Yoshiki's point of view where we can see like through his fringe, and that's really fun. The manga doesn't do that. I like that it shows us his eyes opening and his hair in his face because it just adds another layer of interest and intimacy and personality to it. We're just that much more in his head, and it's really fun. He looks even more busted in this show than he does in the manga, and he did not look too good in the manga. Okay, that's a little more context about the company that we didn't get. So it sounds like someone was trying to develop the land or start mining or logging or something, and somehow his company intervened. They didn't like the company's intervention, but the alternative would have been worse. Okay. Right? If only we knew who they were. Ooh. A cicada and a moth being eaten by ants. Yum. Is it gonna do the TV screen thing again? Because that was funny. Yes! That panel where he's like, I might die, y'all. I might die. Beautiful Gilligan cut to absolutely nothing happening. Yes, although I believe we don't get this information until like chapter 16 when we talk to Matsuda's daughter. Daughter disappeared. A different one? Or the one that we know? Alright, let's see how they do this bit. Don't look up. Yes! Move. Move. Go. Yum! The tea's not going anywhere. Calm down. I kind of love that everyone else is just as weirded out and annoyed and put off by Tanaka as I am. Hikaru's back. Right. With the shrunken head. There she is. The charm. Yep. Good luck charm. Right. Something else is afoot. The shape of the town and the tea leaves. We love to see it. Yes, Asuko can hear. She can't really see the other side, but she can hear it. So when Hikaru ate that thing, it was like a weird, freaky noise, but Yuki couldn't hear it at all. In the manga, it's not that extreme. Asuko's just like, whoa, what was that? And Yuki's like, I don't know, I didn't hear anything. I really like her like collapsing and freaking out. It's an excellent way of pushing a concept a little bit further. That's, I think, a huge component of this whole adaptation. We're going to do everything that was laid out for us in the manga, but we're just going to push it a little farther. We're going to make it a little bit creepier, a little bit grosser, a little bit more extreme, and it's really working for me. Even that there, in the manga, I don't think Hikaru fell over and passed out like that. He just kind of was like, whoa, nosebleed, let me take care of that. But it's just adding a little more physicality, a little more extremity to his reaction. And now you have to have Yoshiki worried over Hikaru touching him, helping him up, just adds that much more to it.
あいつお前にくっつこうとしとったから潰して俺の中入れた。はい、吸い込む飲み込む的な。でも抵抗されて話出してもた。俺以外のことを見やんといて。見るからついてくんねん。あいつら寂しがりやぞ。
That's such a fun take on ghosts or wandering spirits. They're maybe not malicious, but they are dangerous and they're lonely. And it takes one of them to tell us that. These creatures aren't necessarily trying to hurt or spook or harm people. They're just so lonely, but their presence is fear-inducing and possibly even death-inducing. And so they want to be where the people are. They want to latch on to someone, but the latching on can hurt them, scare them, or kill them. And that's really sad. Now, not all of that is given to us expressly in the text. I'm extrapolating a little bit, but I think you can follow. And I think that's a really neat take on ghosts and wandering spirits. There's no happy solution for the ghosts. They can latch on to someone to try to appease their loneliness, but it's never going to work. There's a lot of different concepts of ghosts in Japanese mythology. Probably the most commonly known one to us in the West is the yurei, which is basically just the spirit of a person who can't pass on due to something they did in their life that is preventing them from passing on. And this is the kind of ghost that has the long black hair, the kind of disheveled Sadako from the Ring type of ghost. That's the word that Yoshiki uses for Hikaru when he asks him, like, are you a ghost in the first episode? But I almost feel like these impurities, these spirits are not yurei, but hungry ghosts. I forget what they're called in Japanese. They're more of a Buddhist tradition, and they can't pass on. They haunt because they hunger for something. They're a lot less human than a yurei. They are their desire. It's like they're a desire incarnate. And whatever it is that they desire, they seek after it and they try to eat it. A lot of them feed on corpses. And no matter how much they get of it, they are never satiated, never satisfied. So I feel like these impurities are a little bit more of a hungry ghost phenomenon than a classical yurei. When I was an undergrad, I took a whole class on Japanese folklore and religion, and it was one of the best decisions I made in college, period. It was so much fun. We get a little bit of possessiveness from Hikaru here. Only I'm allowed to attach to you. Nobody else can attach to you. I can be stuck to you, though. It's fun watching Hikaru have feelings and emotions and desires and figure out how to express them and what exactly they mean for him now that he gets to experience life. A lot of his concepts for things are completely alien. Like he's trying to explain, I crunched it up and I ate it. Like I put it inside me. I sucked it up. And nothing is really coming across to Yoshiki very well. I feel like it's the same thing for his sense of desire and attachment as well. Okay, so Yuki heard it, but she didn't hear it the way that Asuko heard it. Right, yeah. He knows something. There's a lot of back and forth about what is true about Nonuki-sama and what is just myth that's been built up. Because it won't touch the Indo family, but then how do you explain the taking over of Hikaru's corpse? Won't touch them, does that just mean it won't harm them? And so Hikaru asking for Nonuki-sama's help, it interpreted that as just do whatever you can to help, and the way that it sought to help was by taking possession of the corpse. I kind of don't think that Nonuki-sama is really bound by rules. People in this story try to define it and try to establish rules around it, and they all kind of fall short. Because how do you box in a god? It makes sense that it's operating on a completely different framework in a completely different dimension. It's lonely, so it takes the people that are close to the Indos, but it doesn't take them if they become Indos. What about people that you love that are not a spouse? People that you love that are not family? Are you not allowed to have friends? What about an Indo woman who marries out and is no longer an Indo but changes her last name? Is she at risk? Lots of questions, not a lot of answers. And it's fun. And I'm trying to discern the difference between writing that raises questions and doesn't answer them, that's fun and gets you to think, versus writing that raises questions that feels like a hindrance to the story. I haven't hashed that out in my mind yet, but it's something I've been thinking about. Because here I go just saying that all these questions I have about Nonuki-sama, there's no answers to, and it's fun to speculate. And I'm saying that's a good thing, but then on the other hand, I'm complaining about Tanaka and the company and saying that the lack of answers and lack of context is a bad thing. So what gives? What's the difference? I don't know. I'm trying to figure that out. Feel free to help me along. Oh, here we go.
Yoshiki. Te, 入れてみる?
Pat, is this real?
タレにつけた
Yeah.
鶏肉に似とる。ひんやりしとる。
A photograph of raw chicken? It totally undercuts the tension of the scene, but it's so absurdist and so out of left field that I think I love it. I could not have predicted that. I love how the show does tension. Here you are, 15 years old, gay, secret crush on your best friend who does not know about the crush, does not return the crush. Maybe you have imagined a moment like this in your secret fantasies, something like this happens with him undressing in front of you. And then it's real, but it's not really him, and it's some creature with a cavity in its chest. And it's like, come here, touch this. What's winning the battle, the disgust or the desire? And maybe not even just disgust and desire, but there's just a morbid curiosity somewhere in the middle there, where you're just like, man, I gotta know, I gotta see it. I love a story that comes up with a scenario that has never happened before in the history of any scene. And the author, in an interview, had specifically cited the concept of the suspension bridge effect, which is a psychological theory that posits that it may be easier to fall in love when you're afraid. Because when you're in a state of fear, heightened emotional arousal, in that heightened state, your heart rate's up, something's happening, you are more inclined to find a stranger or a friend attractive. Your body misattributes the source of your heightened state to the person that you are with instead of the difficult scenario you are in. So that is a theme that this story plays with nonstop. That was a big thing for the author to investigate. Where is the line between fear and attraction? Or even disgust and attraction? A lot of things that are attractive are disgusting. Like kissing is kind of gross if you think about it. Sex is gross. Like kind of gross things that we do with people because we are attracted to them. Why is that? What is there to investigate with those concepts?
あったかいな。生きてるもんが中におる感覚久々や。なあ、もっと手持ち上げてみ。
Can I show this? Is this allowed? Ooh, nice fisheye. That's fun.
ビビったくそおい別に汚ないわお服出血大サービスいやちょっとなんや
はよ服着ろや満足かお前は
そうかも
Yeah. That was a forced laugh if I ever heard one. I think Hikaru not really having a concept of human interactions and feelings and things must be really hard for Yoshiki to navigate because Hikaru is doing these things, teasing him, taking off his shirt, things that are eliciting a reaction from Yoshiki. And I don't know if Hikaru really knows what he's doing. And so for Yoshiki, it must feel very guilty, almost feeling like you're taking advantage of your friend, taking advantage of your friend's body. Even if it's something you want, it's maybe something the old Hikaru would never have agreed to, and something this new Hikaru doesn't really understand the significance of to Yoshiki, specifically because he had this crush on Hikaru.
妹さんは元気なんかなんや学校よう休んどるらしいけど山崎さんとこもな心配しとったで種むいんはさみんな一緒やないのかおるちゃんまだ中1やろあんまり甘やかしたらあかんよ
Yovi, you are a shiitake bun in the grocery basket. This is kind of fun. And the CCTV footage, lots of really unusual framing of the shots. Alright, now we get Kurebayashi's official first. The chicken, man, I can't do this. Yes.
兄ちゃん今すぐやめなさい
She knows I'm gay.
ものすごくやばいもの近くにおるから
Yeah, another really fun, the Dutch angle through the bikes. It's like we're seeing this from far away, like we almost shouldn't be overhearing this conversation.
通りすがりの主婦やから
Just a housewife passing through, if you know that reference.
そこからずーっと嫌な感じしとってね消えたんよ最近
In the opening, we saw a glimpse of what was going on with Mrs. Kurebayashi and her husband.
なんか知っとるんですか
Or should I say, the thing that was once her husband.
でもあんたがそのままじゃあかんってことはわかるよ事情があるんよね
Yeah, his reasons. What a strange sense of relief this must be. Yoshiki has nobody to turn to in his life for anything, and especially no adults. Nobody that understands his depression, nobody to help him navigate his difficult family relationships, nobody to come out to, nobody that he can tell about Hikaru. He's got so much bottled up inside him. I'm honestly amazed that he's not doing worse than he actually is. I think meeting Kurebayashi must be such a relief because he didn't have to come out and tell her any of this. She just showed up and she was like, hey, I know, I can sense what's going on. And even though she's here to deliver a warning, what a relief it must be. Just to hear somebody say, I see you. I can see what's going on with you. Yeah. It wasn't a moth and a cicada, it was the cicada and its molted carapace. Okay. Oh, that was fun. Little shot of it bursting open with the creature inside it, and he could just laugh. All right, I'm gonna watch the ending. Love the grain and the 3:4 aspect ratio. Is that real footage? They're animated onto a real train. Mixed media, I love it. Oh, this is so creative. It's so fun when a show will take risks like this, do something with animation that just isn't done, and that people are going to think is weird. That's the outfits they wear when they go to the beach in Volume 5. All right, slay. Honestly, yeah. This show hits. It is taking me back to the summer that I was 16. And what a rare and beautiful thing that was. The summer that my friend from Tokyo spent living with me and my family was one of the best summers of my life. It's one of those things where you're kind of aware of the ephemerality of it as it's happening. I knew I need to treasure every moment of this because it's going to be gone and I want to keep this forever. I want to live in this summer forever. And this was 10 years ago, and I've tried many, many times to write it down. Just talk about everything we did that summer. But every time I try to write it down, I can't do it justice. It feels like it loses some of the magic, or I can't tell you exactly what it felt like to be running around in a rainstorm in Arizona, singing and dancing in the rain, eating one of the worst sandwiches of my life. Or one night we just stayed up really late on the patio talking about, he was telling me that one of the worst nightmares he ever had was entirely claymation, and it was horrifying. It's the stupidest things that stick with you. I kind of knew once he leaves, we're never going to get this back because we have to grow up. And I knew we couldn't have it forever because he was my friend. And the thing about friends is that they usually end up leaving you for a lover. And a friendship like that, just a wild adolescent summer friendship, is a hard thing to make last. One of the few people that I could say I love you to and really mean it. And I know he loved me too. Because saying goodbye at the end of that summer was one of the hardest things I have ever done. I've tried to describe what it felt like to have to say goodbye, and I've never been able to do it. Sobbing in the middle of this dark, weed-smelling parking lot. He's married now, he has 2 kids, and still lives far away. But that summer that we had was really special. Birthday's in 5 days, so I'll probably call him. This show is getting to me in ways that I don't want to be got to. Anyway, thank you for watching. I look forward to the discussion in the comments, and I'll see you next week. Don't go putting your hands in raw chicken.